Understandably so, and I think the spectators are going to be pretty happy as well here at Castle Combe. Cracking race, and there's a great following for the 3 domestic championships. We've seen the GTs, we've seen the Formula Fords, and very shortly we're going to see the Saloon Car Championship supported by National Mobile Windscreens. I've used the word eclectic already in the context of the circuit's own championships. The same is true here, look, as you've got MG ZRs, you've got Peugeot 106s, Ford Pumas heading up to the grid. And this race is going to be another 10-minute plus 1 lap race, with the last car on the grid hopefully to be there in a moment or two, Eddie Benton with his Citroën Saxo. The pole position for this, for the man that won the championship last year, Nick Charles, who drives this very, very rapid Peugeot 106 GTI, and Simon Norris lining himself up on the 4th row of the grid with his Honda Integra that runs in Class D, a new class for this year for cars really with standard engines. And Simon, who used to race with great success, a Mitsubishi Lancer. Indeed, he had a rather infamous accident here at Castle Combe, coming out of the last corner, tripped over a back marker, got airborne, and clattered his way off the very high debris fencing. It was a mighty moment that he had, but it never fazed him. Very, very competitive driver, and now with his Honda Integra, humbling what you might think were more powerful cars with their modified engines. So the grid there is just about complete. I think we've got 1 or 2 gaps upon it, in fact, but the cars very shortly are going to be released. They get one more warming up lap, or 1 lap to get some warmth into the tyres. The green flag now is waved. Nick Charles and Adam Prebble lining up on the front of the grid, and it should be a good battle between those two, as the rest of this very varied field, it includes Volvos and BMWs, makes its way now off the line. We should have had Guy Parr in this race again. We saw him in the Sports and GT race a little bit earlier on in the day. He should have been driving his Mini in this, but he has not come to the grid. So having done a few laps in the car in qualifying, he put it 24th fastest out of 34 cars that we should have had in the completion of the grid, but he's not there. And fingers crossed that the car is going to be out later on in the day for the Motors TV Open Trophy race, when the car's preparer Wayne Poole is going to be behind the wheel of it for the non-championship race later on in the day. So Minis, Fords, Mark II Suzuki Swift, you can see there, going out of Quarry. Nick Clark's car, only his 4th ever race in fact, and he makes his way now up towards the S's. Behind him is the BMW 130 M Sport, Kevin Bird's car. Kevin, another stalwart in this championship. So there's a lot of battling that you're going to find in this, and the nice thing about the championship, based on engine size, is that just about everybody finds someone to race against. Class A is for the over 2 litre cars and the forced induction cars, so that's where the turbos and the supercharged engined cars go. Class B is the up to 1800cc class. Then you've got Class C for the up to 1400 cars, and Class D for the standard engines, because the rest have a certain level of modification. And there's the leading light within Class D. Simon Norris, he's riding with him as he makes his way up now towards Bobby's. Adrian Slade is ahead of him. Good to see that he's on the grid with the MG ZR, Adrian, because he in fact went off. He was one of a number of drivers that went off the road in qualifying. Another being Mark Wyatt, who starts a row ahead of them both on the 3rd row. Mark Wyatt in his yellow Astra. He's going to be a man to watch as well. Multiple class champion. 3 class titles the insurance broker has had in the past. So there is Adam Prebble, somebody else who comes from a good racing family, with Brian Prebble having been a special saloon and modified sports car champion many moons ago. Nick Charles then for pole position. You can see in the red Peugeot 106, the 2nd row of the grid about to slot into place, the yellow Audi TT of Tony Hutchings, the Turnpike Racing Run car, which is a very rapid proposition. And just on the outside of the 2nd row, you can see the car stationary already. Tony Dolly, who was the man that won the opening round here just a week ago. Nick Charles was 3rd on Easter Monday, but he's the man on pole position here. And Mark Wyatt on the 3rd row split them. He came home in 2nd spot. So this very, very full field still forming up. We're going to be ready shortly. There's one car, I think, heading down the pit lane. So problems for one of the back markers, as it were, on the grid, and whether that's going to be able to start the race, I know not. Looking down to see whether it's gone pits or paddock, I fear, which is never a good sign. So there is the last couple of rows. Peter Weston in 23. Number 19 is Eddie Benton. And the last few cars will slot into place. And when they do so, green flag will be shown at the back to say that everybody's where they should be. And we're just about ready for business then. Another 10-minute plus 1 lap race here at Castle Combe. Drivers look towards the marshals on the start gantry. The 5-second board replaced by the lights, which go out. Everybody underway now, and the best start of all really comes probably from Simon Norris, who's made good progress up from the outside of the fourth row of the grid, but it's the Rover 220 Turbo Coupe on the outside there that storms round the outside to bag the lead. Adam Prebble it is, and who leads the way as they go for the first time up now towards Quarry. But that's Simon Norris's view. The car good off the line, but it hasn't quite got the grunt going up towards Quarry, so he's lost one place. Brakes, changes down, sets the car up for the right-hander. Prebble leading, Charles second, Hutchings is third, and then David Kift is in fourth place as this very varied field turns its way out of the right-hander. Volvo ahead of Peugeots and Citroens and all sorts of miscellaneous cars in the entry, but it's the Rover that leads the way. Adam Prebble getting away from the opposition here, look. Comes towards Old Paddock for the first time. Second spot, Nick Charles. But the turbocharged Rover, got another turbo car there, the white Borer just ducking up the inside and gaining a place. The white Rover certainly pulling away up front for the moment as the rest of the field work their way out of the S's for the first time. Forget that about him pulling away, because over at Tower, Prebble is caught in a big slide there from Simon Norris. He caught the slide well. That's going to cost him a little bit of time and certainly momentum on the run up towards Bobby's. Did he lose places? Yes, he did. Mark Wyatt gets ahead of him there, and there might be another place or two lost by Simon Norris as well. It was a big slide. He did well to hang on to it, but it certainly cost him dear. Charles Hyde Andrews Bird, number 15 there, working his way up one place. He's gone ahead of Richard Marsh in the MG ZR. Down they come. Darrell Radford's white Borer, look there on the inside line, trying to gain a place. They dive down towards Camp Corner. Radford goes through. That puts him up on the inside of Adrian Slade. Place gained. End of the lap. It is up front Adam Prebble who leads the way. Nick Charles second, and then the Audi TT in the hands of Tony Hutchings is third. David Kift is fourth. Radford goes a bit wide in the Borer. Driver from the BARC South East Centre Championships as well in years past. He's had wins in that. He's under great pressure though as they come up towards us. Behind him is Adrian Slade, and then number 68, the blue and yellow car, Nick Misem. Nick's another vastly experienced driver. He's been racing for many years, 50 years of age now. Way off wide there goes the Mini of Mark Funnell, bouncing his way all over the grass. The former Special GT champion back onto the circuit in the supercharged Mini. He's brought a lot of the dirt and the dust onto the track as well, which is going to make it slippery for those behind. Doesn't often do things like that, but somebody adapting from GT cars, sports cars, now to saloon cars. There's Nick Misem then, right on the back of Slade. Slade coming back at Darrell Radford. Making their way now down once again towards Tower. Those two MG ZRs absolutely tied together, and the Borer, of course, good in a straight line when the turbo kicks in, but through the corners, the 1800cc normally aspirated cars behind are going to have a chance, and Slade, who went off at this corner in qualifying, has a look up the inside, can't get past Radford, but he's also trying to defend from Nick Misem. Nick, who goes back, as I say, many years to Formula Ford, to the modified Saloon Car Championship. He's been a regular at Castle Combe for a good number of seasons as well, and now always has immaculately presented cars, and he's right on the back of Adrian Slade as they come now down towards Camp Corner. You can see the way there that on a power part of the circuit, the Borer turbo has pulled away. Slade taking no prisoners. He's still there just ahead of Nick Misem as they come across the line. 7 more minutes are still to run, plus 1 lap tacked on at the end. The two MG ZRs together. Slade just ahead. Here are the leaders, are there together as well. Now you can see the way that Adam Prebble is being caught, certainly in the corners, by the more nimble Peugeot.